2. Let's roll the video.
Do you have absolute certainty on how you go from hello to yes on what you're looking for? I watch people get stuck and frozen, and that breaks my heart. I was once stuck and frozen too. Greatest superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people.
So what's up, Ambassador Results? Rob Gill, you ready?
I'm ready to rock and roll, brother.
All right, so who we got? What's happening? Thank you, everybody, and welcome. By the way, let's kick it off at Rob Gill, who I affectionately call the Ambassador of Results, formerly from a different lifetime, Big Sugar, also known sometimes as the Mayor of Money. I was a dear friend, a partner, somebody that I've entrusted my life financially with, and do tremendous amounts of work in partnership together with this man. Rob is a dear friend, a genius in the space of human influence and acceleration. And so, Rob, you got some awesome and fine folks here today. So let's drop in.
Yeah. So first of all, Sean, thank you for allowing me to host this Real Raw. Really excited about it. I'm gonna, just from an integrity time standpoint, introduce each person so they could share a little bit about themselves. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's go, brother.
Okay.
And if we could hit everybody like 30 seconds ish, just like, hey, what's your name? Where you're from? And what are you up to in the world? Not like, oh yeah, hey, I'm Rob, and I do financial services. No, it's like, hey, I'm Rob, and I'm up to like impacting wealth generationally, because I grew up in an environment where there was monetary ignorance that caused pain and stress. Like that might be what it sounds like. And then a quick 1-sentence fun fact. And it's not a lengthy story, but it might be, hey, I'm Rob Gill. Fun fact is I'm going to be like swimming with sharks this weekend with Sean Callagy. And it's like great whites in the Northeast. There might be something like that, Rob.
Yeah, no, it could be. So without any further ado, let me start off with my very first person. His name is Greg Prococcino. Greg, the mic is yours. Tell us about yourself, brother.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate Rob. How are you, everybody? Good afternoon. Greg Prococcino. I'm from Bordentown, New Jersey. I'm a financial services executive, a career changer in this business. Been in financial services for 23 years, the last year and a half on the sales side. Ultimately, at the end of the day, my goal is to assist clients and businesses to really help them meet and exceed their long-term financial goals. A fun fact about me, team, is that I am a diehard New York Giants fan. I shouldn't brag that too much about that. The last 8 years have not been so great. Season ticket holder. We actually own a fan-friendly tailgate bus. A member of the J Fund, which is Coach Coughlin's cancer research organization that we go to Sawgrass together, my family and I. So, I'm ready to learn from each of you, to grow, and I appreciate the opportunity to even participate in this.
Hey, Greg, for somebody that's a first-time person here, this is the 137th Real Raw Open we've run since COVID. 137th. For the first person being on their first time, that was the best introduction I've ever seen. I mean, and these are all recorded, so you can listen. I've never said that before. Awesome job, dude. Great emotional transference. Love hearing about the fun, your family love for the Giants, dude. Great job, and welcome.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you so much, Sean. Looking forward to it.
Wow, that is an unbelievable ringing endorsement, Greg. I've never heard him say that. So good for you, and God bless. Next up, we have a future protege who's learning to elevate his game by the name of Tim Tedesco. Tim, the microphone is yours.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for inviting me here. Happy to be here. So I too am a career changer into the financial industry. My story is I think it's unique. At least I really had a passion for hockey growing up, and that ended up leading me through college, where I came back, graduated, had the opportunity to start coaching, and really find that I just love influencing people and helping the community. So my dad actually told me his story about how he got his career started in his business, and ultimately sat down with somebody that does what we do. And I was like, man, that just seems like the best job for me. Like I literally get to go out there and do what I love, influence people, be involved in the community. And then a fun fact kind of with that is my dad and my grandfather were both members of the Elks organization. So I'm a third generation member. And it's great because I get to go out there and volunteer with the community and help with special needs children and veterans. So that's me.
Tim, super impressive. And where'd you play hockey?
I played at Towson.
Oh, very, very cool. And you grew up in Jersey or somewhere else?
Yeah, grew up in Jersey.
Yeah, where'd you go to high school, if I could ask?
Watchung Hills.
Oh, very nice. Very, very cool. I mean, I ask because I'm a Jersey guy and I know high school in the state hugely. So Watchung Hills that's a pretty big school, correct or no?
Yeah, it was a regional school. So I think when I graduated, there was about 2,400 kids in the school.
Big school, man. All right, awesome. Well, welcome, Tim. Rob.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tim. That's awesome. And for all the people out there in the financial services industry, if you're looking to start your own financial planning company, you want to call none other than Kevin Galbraith. Kevin, take it over. Stage and microphone yours, brother.
Hey, Rob, Sean, and Mike. Great to see you all and great to meet the rest of you. So I'm here in New York City, founder of the Galbraith law firm here in the city. We specialize in financial services. We counsel our clients in arbitration, litigation, regulatory and white-collar defense, and regulatory compliance. We're in front of FINRA, the SEC, state securities and insurance regulators across the country. Our approach is all about solving problems, navigating problems, and in the best case scenario, foreseeing and avoiding problems. So I love to give good counsel to my clients. I tend to be very friendly, but also very blunt. So there's no mysteries as between and among me and my clients. Fun fact, I've got a couple of ties to JFK. So my first cousin twice removed was an economic advisor, John Kenneth Galbraith, economic advisor to JFK.
Wow.
And my grandfather was JFK's physician when he was in and around New York City. So kind of fun. How did I get here? Worked at big and medium national and international law firms for the first 8 years of my career. Decided to go out on my own. And best professional decision I ever made, a little bit more than 7 years ago. Love combining practice of law and entrepreneurship and appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Awesome. Great job, Kevin. And great to see you, brother.
You too.
All right, Rob.
Next up, we have the mighty Bill Castecki, who's got the energy of an Energizer bunny. Go ahead, Bill, take it away. You're calling 300 leads from what I understand.
What's up, everybody? I'm Bill Castecki. I'm originally from Rockaway, New Jersey. Morris Knowles graduate for those Jersey folks. I am 27 years old. I started my own financial planning practice straight out of college. I had no idea what I was doing, but had come across some great mentors in the industry, which have helped me to get to where I am today. 5 years here in September of 2020. So it's been a great ride. A fun fact about me is I work with a couple of the folks on the line. Tim and I are actually head up an organization called the Hockey Players in Business in New Jersey, where we network and as well as raise a lot of money for charities that support the local hockey communities in underserved areas in New Jersey. So pretty cool stuff, but nice to meet everybody. Glad to be here.
So great job, brother. Welcome.
And next up, we have the person that's curing, without a doubt, the student loan crisis, none other than Derek Ossie.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here today. Yeah, so I guess the main start or the main thing that I kind of got myself into the financial planning student loan problem issue was, I graduated college like many of us here. I had an issue and I had to figure it out myself. And from there, I found a lot of tricks to the trade, and I really, truly want to spread that knowledge out there. You want to communicate and educate these strategies so that we can really fix this $1.7 trillion problem right now. Fun fact about me is I'm a huge Giants fan, so I'm going to go off your coattails there, Greg. I might be crashing that party over there one of these when they let us go back to the stadiums. But I grew up in New Jersey. I grew up in a little town called Pequannock. It's right next to Wayne. And I went to Don Bosco Prep, where I finished up high school. And then I finished out my financial planning degree at the wonderful University of William Patterson. So
Awesome, brother.
Well, and next up we have, listen, if you're looking for proper planning and you want to be able to spend down your money during your retirement in the most tax efficient manner through trusts and really understanding tax write-offs, we have none other than the mighty, ubiquitous Mike Gorman.
Talk
Hey,
to
Mike.
that one. Just recently paroled from Trenton State Prison. Happy to be out again. Okay.
Welcome home, Mike.
Lawyer, CPA, been a managing director of a financial services firm for 20 years, one of the bigger ones in the country. So I guess the keys for me is I like to take on different projects. I think I've got the intelligence to deal with them and the compassion and also the experience. When you've been around too long, I'm not in this business just 2 or 3 years. I got more experience than anybody on this, I think, but unfortunately, but I think I can get the job done, and I like to take on new opportunities. A fun fact, I live a half a mile from the Jets training camp.
Boom. Jets are in the house. Finally.
I'm a Jet fan. I'm a Met fan. You Yankee fans and Giant fans, I know you don't know baseball, and Danny Dimes isn't going to get it done. Him and Darno are both bums. Let's get out of here.
Gorman, I'm not sending you any more business, man. That's it.
Great.
Mike, Google this while we're chatting. Box 113A, Shea Stadium, seating chart. Shea Stadium, box 113A. That's where I was sitting when the ball rolled through Bill Buckner's legs in 1986.
Get out. Really?
Box 20 feet from him. Yeah. Awesome to meet you, brother. Rob.
Yes, and it is true. Mike Gorman has done financial planning for the 12 Apostles. Next up, we have a man that's been accelerating right under my watch every single day. His commitment to excellence is phenomenal, and he's only at the beginning of the beginning. David Harden. Yeah, David.
What's up, everybody? So
Hey.
glad to be here. Sean, love you, brother. And by the way, what you sent to me, I'll never be able to thank you enough. I am from Ossining, New York, home of Sing Sing Prison, although I've never actually been a guest there. But I am a financial planner now 22 years. I was blessed to have a couple of leadership opportunities, one with Mike Gorman that really kind of changed my career at MetLife. But as we've kind of moved forward in my journey, in 2018, I had the unbelievable good fortune of meeting my mentor and partner, Rob Gill, and going through the 3-day immersion with Sean in March of 2019, which completely changed the trajectory of my business. And one day at a time, one family at a time, and one business at a time, we are creating financial homeostasis and freedom for businesses efficiently, effectively, and ethically. A fun fact, 2 fun facts about me. Number one is kind of similar to Kevin. I have a distant relationship relation to Winston Churchill. My middle name is Jerome, and his mother is Jenny Jerome, which is where my middle name came from. And then fun fact number 2 is I rode in a dune buggy with Rob Gill while Chris Crone was going about 80 miles an hour through the hills in Utah, and we survived. So,
Hey, Dave, brother, that was incredible. And just to like seed this for what we're doing, right? So, Rob is here. We had that connection. What was it that when we did the immersion in March of 2000, you got to explain in 10 seconds, 15 seconds max. What would you tell people? It's like, yeah, like there's like the yeah, like I know stuff, right? Of course. And people do know stuff. Yep. But what was it that unlocked for you?
I was blind and I was not prepared to see. And then I also, through those 4 days, I unlearned and relearned everything about how to develop relationships in a 3-day span. But I didn't know what I didn't know, and was just going on the faith that recreating myself was possible, Sean. And you and Rob taught me that, and I've just been along for the ride ever since.
Yeah, amazing. And your certainty and congruence, like it. Incredible, Dave, what you've done. So, Rob, back to you. Great job.
Thanks, Sean.
Yes, great job, David. And we have the accountant of all accountants. His name is Lenin Herrera, who has not only does individual tax returns, but corporate tax returns for multi-language clients. He is somebody, Sean, that myself and David, let me give David all the credit, that met at the Unblinded event back in January 10, 11, and 12. And we maintained very good communication with him throughout COVID. He was very busy, as you can imagine. But on the backside of that, he's somebody that, we have developed a good relationship with. And he will be doing a video series with us this week on our YouTube channel on how to drive traffic and create ecosystem mergers for clients to work with advisors, accountants, and estate attorneys, as well as life insurance agents. The mighty Lennon Herrera, take over.
Thank you. Hey guys, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. A little bit about myself. I've been in accounting for 20 years, on my own for the last 15 years. I decided to go on my own about 15 years ago. We opened up a small office in Hackensack, New Jersey. Kind of wanted to bring in advanced tax planning and a higher level of service to a lower income market. As we've grown and we've gone out a little bit away from that in terms of our clientele, but we always wanted to bring service and just want to bring more knowledge to people about taxation. We feel that they don't know enough and they overpay in a lot of ways. We currently right now specialize in tax planning and are focused with all our clients on just making sure that they're paying the least amount of taxes legally and across the board. Fun fact about me, I am a Giants fan, so I'm glad we have a couple of those guys here. Jet fans, sorry, I don't know what to say. And I'm pretty unique in the sense that I'm a Giant and Met fan, so I don't like the Yankees either.
Very unique.
And for fun, things I like to do is football, boxing, and I'm taking on a new challenge of the martial arts of Krav Maga in the next 3 weeks. So we'll see how that goes. Hope I don't break my nose.
Leonard, where'd you grow up, man?
I grew up in Lodi, New Jersey.
Nice. Lodi Ram, right? The
Lodi Rams, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Under
Lodi
Coach
Rams.
Tirico.
I'm sorry?
Under Coach Tirico.
Yes, Coach Tirico. There you go.
Yeah.
Lodi Rams are in the house, Rob Gill.
I'm hearing boxing and karate. That's all I need to hear. And by the way, for whatever it's worth, I am a Steeler fan for all you Giant fans, and we did kick your ass the other night.
Thanks a lot, Rob. Appreciate that. Yep. Appreciate that.
Awesome. So who we got, Rob?
The rest we have the 3 judges.
Yeah.
You want me to introduce each judge?
Yeah, let's go, man.
Okay, great. So we have, who, by the way, did a phenomenal job last night on Infinity X. We have Teresa Triggers Pfefferly.
You did it.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Teresa, you got your shark repellent ready for this weekend?
I don't know, man. You're scaring me with that shark talk.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun this weekend, Teresa and Rob and company. So Teresa, like drop some amazingness about you, please.
Wow. Okay. I'm a 20-year real estate entrepreneur. I don't know. I've been in real estate for 20 years. I'm a mom of a blended family of 5, and I'm a rock star.
Straight up. So Teresa, you got drop a little bit about your business and the size of the brokerage.
Yeah. So right now I broker an office of somewhere between, it fluctuates between 150 and 180 agents. We have 3 locations. I sit on the board of the local association, the state association, and the National Association of Realtors.
And a fun
fact is I'm afraid of sharks.
Boom. Well, we're gonna work on that this week. Rob Gill, what's up? Who's next?
Yeah, we got the mighty Joe Hagan. Joe, take it over,
the
brother.
mighty Joe Hagan's in the house. I didn't steal his fun fact, and I'm gonna ask him for another one. So please.
So just a quick distinction. I'm not watching football for reasons other than sports. I do understand that Danny Dimes made a couple of major mistakes, which turned the game, and it wasn't so much of an ass kicking as rookie mistakes or. That being said, it is what it is. I didn't pay attention to it, and I won't until
physical dominance.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I really will. I have no interest in it, but when I did love the game, it's interesting. I had Brad Benson on the last call working with me, and he's a Giant. And I don't want anyone to know, including Brad, that when I was a kid pre-ESPN, I was actually a Cowboy fan until I grew up.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't really tell anyone that. And it's only
Oh,
because, like, the only game on TV, the Giants were horrible, the Jets were horrible. The only game on TV was Dallas. And I'm like, watch this guy store back. They're down 4 touchdowns. He's going to bring him back. And he always would. And so it was fun to watch because there was nobody else to watch. And that being said, my buddy in high school used to take me to Shea Stadium. Now that you brought me back, Sean, and I got to say, watching the Sack Exchange was a lot of fun. And my oldest daughter,
Klecko, Abdul Salam, and Marty Lyons. Thank you very much.
yeah, and my daughter up there in the background, that's her like senior picture day from softball. She played softball with Klecko's daughter, and I used to sit on the sidelines. And the guy made All-Pro at all 3 positions on the line. It's never been done before. I don't know how he's not in the Hall of Fame, but when he goes to tell me and makes a point, even at his age, and he backhands me into the chest, it hurts. He's a good man. So to all you Giant and Jets and all you mentally challenged Steelers fans, thank you for letting me be here.
The illustrious Joe Hagan, Rob Gill.
Joe Hagan. And last but certainly not least, my birthday brother, guy that trains me and coaches me as well, is Michael Schmeiken. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, folks. What an honor it is to be on this panel with this group of people. So just unbelievable. Fun fact, I actually own the New York Giants, and now I'm thinking about selling it. But no, that's not true. So I am a commercial litigator by trade. I am a relentless guardian and leader of other relentless guardians. Have tremendous, results in and out of court, 2 top 100 national jury verdicts, including the largest jury verdict in the state of Arizona. We've also, January of this year, launched a business innovation department that is geared entirely towards helping entrepreneurs achieve the highest degree of success in their businesses, and launched another business, because I'm not busy enough, obviously, called Fit to Exit, which is an online course designed to educate entrepreneurs on how to achieve their ideal exit. Everybody exits their business at some point in their life, either through death or liquidation or a sale. And we want to make sure that all entrepreneurs have access to the information for them to successfully exit their businesses in the most ideal way possible. So it's a little bit about what we're doing right now. But again, I just want to say how thankful I am to you, Sean, and you, Rob, for having me here today. So this should be really fun with this group.
Michael,
Awesome.
did you have anybody working with you on those cases? Like, keep up with anybody? Like, maybe.
So, one of the big things about being a leader of an entire group is you got to carry the rest of your team. So I actually had to carry Sean Callagy. I'm lying. So no, Sean Callagy was a lead counsel. I was co-lead counsel. He handled about 75% of the trial. And when we talk about influence mastery, we joke around a lot. But there's something that Sean has always been able to bring into the practice of law, and as long as I've known him, it almost looked like magic. He sprinkled magic dust on people and made them do the things that he wanted them to do in integrity, within the bounds of law and ethics. And that trial that we had in 2016 was the culmination of our entire career together. And I saw him do magic, things that can only be explained by divine intervention. That's a longer story for a different day. But, the team dynamic that we bring together to produce results is unbelievable. And being able to be mentored by someone like Sean for the last 11 years, and we're partners in Callagy Law, has been one of the greatest gifts that I've had in my life. And he's changed the trajectory of my life.
Yeah, and none of that would have happened without Michael Schmeiken. So love Michael, love Rob, love all you guys. Rob, okay, if I just intro quick what I'm up to.
1 second, Sean. I just want to introduce Carolyn.
I didn't know Carolyn was here. Okay, awesome.
Yep, Carolyn is the driver of all information I bring forward. I think if you look at my 10 by 10s and the relationships that are cultivated in there, it's really a direct result of her and the Zeus energy that we all know that she has. The ability to drive outcomes is pretty incredible. So Carolyn DeSena, please share some facts.
I'll give you guys some fun facts. I'm half Vietnamese. My dad is from Boston. I am related to someone from the Mayflower. The youngest person that came over on the Mayflower is Mary Allerton. She married Thomas Cushman, and I am a Cushman and a direct descendant. And I have trekked with silverback gorillas in Rwanda, up in the mountains that border the Congo and Uganda. So those are some fun facts about me. And I worked at Goldman Sachs, wanted to be an actress, currently run a foundation, a health and wellness foundation. And I also dabble in some private equity businesses.
Carolyn, welcome. And that is
Thank you. Thanks. So great to see all you guys. Good luck.
All right, brother Sean.
Yeah, so my name is Sean Callagy, and I am the co-founder of Unblinded, the founder of Callagy Law. And what this is all about, guys, is the superpower of influence. And for 23 years, that's been the passion of my life. It's led to me having a fun side hustle of owning a 125-person law firm. And primary day-to-day driving is partnerships with Rob and Michael, partnership and co-founder of Unblinded, where we're bringing integrous influence to the world and understanding what to do with it to free up people's money, time, and magic in incredible ways. And so many people think that it's either yes or no. Hey, I'm good at something or I'm not. The micro distinctions create exponential acceleration. And Rob, if you could just drop in with our favorite number game. I met Rob, super successful, crushing it. And what did your meeting numbers go from what to what?
Initially 8 to 25, just when I was speaking on stage at practice mastery in front of a bunch of physicians that Callagy Law was helping recover revenues as I tried to understand the formula, which I had no clue. But I was in proximity. So I went from 8 to 25. Once I did the 3-day immersion that David just spoke about, March 2019, it kind of all hit me. And shortly after, from 8 to 25, by April to May of 19, we were hitting about 150 new sales meetings a month.
Yeah.
That was in 2019.
And that's Rob driving forward. But the application is principle. Same thing happened for me. I started my first law firm on my credit card, 6 months out of law school, $100,000 in debt, built it to a 40-person law firm and exited, built a successful training and development company, own a 125-person law firm now, as I said, and Unblinded. We did our first event in January, had about 1,500 people at the event. And at this juncture, we're on track to do 100 real raws in the month of October, like today, projecting to be 1,000 by January with incredible people like yourselves, where we're taking integrous influence and learning what to do with it and doing all kinds of cool and fun stuff with a lot of people here. And it's a pleasure and honor to meet you. My fun fact is I am blind. Yeah, I'm blind. I was a Division I college athlete. I have hereditary eye disease. I was captain of the Columbia baseball team. Can't see a single thing on the screen. And I taught a blind guy to surf 4 weeks ago and jumped out of an airplane this past Saturday when I woke up in the morning, not knowing that was happening. So Rob Gill, back to you, brother.
Yeah, he did. By the way, for all the planners on the phone call, as he was on his way to the airplane, he definitely called to make sure that his policies was in good standing, just so everybody knows. I swear to
God, that is true. I actually did. That actually happened. I was Tony Robbins' Lions trip. Tony Robbins' Lions trip. We're on the plane going to Arizona. We land at Grand Canyon with 24 other Lions, inner circle of his organization. And I'm like, we're at Grand Canyon skydive. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I do a lot of crazy stuff. Rob, do I do crazy stuff?
You absolutely do a lot of crazy stuff. No doubt about it.
Skydiving had not been.
I don't think anyone would realize that until they got to spend time with you.
Yes. So I didn't but I was like skydiving. And so I'm like, Rob, dude, this is not going to be, great. Is the policy paid up and ready? Policy paid up and ready. Premium financing, all kinds of crazy stuff with Rob Gill. We are here on the railroad. Let's rock and roll and see where the superpower of influence sits with this amazing group of people, Rob Gill.
Yeah. So this is my first host of the Real Raw, Sean. So these are all the contestants, and their job is to present to me in 3 minutes why I should do business with them. Is that correct?
So let me drop in a couple micro distinctions. Absolutely, Rob, tracking a couple micro distinctions. So people are like, oh, 3 minutes. I don't do 3 minutes. Here's the deal. 3 minutes changed your life. Because of me knowing how to use 90 seconds, that led to me standing up on Tony Robbins' stage for 7 of the last 8 events. And it changed everything, right? 90 seconds and how to create a disruption, create a relationship in front of a group of people. So that's what we're here to do, to unpack that power. Sometimes we have 5 seconds, 10 seconds to leave an impression on somebody. So how do you become integrously, heart-centeredly, congruently unique? 3 minutes, and it doesn't have to be a sale. simply the yes, it's a yes, like hello to yes. The yes could be wanting Rob to have a longer meeting with you about whatever it is. And he could be Rob, or it could be any avatar you want. An ideal client, maybe it's somebody that owns 10 companies that you want to work with, somebody that's a centimillionaire. It could be for a book deal, a stage you want to speak on, whatever is a yes that matters to you in the world. Maybe it's even your favorite charity, but make it real. Like, you don't have to, but something that you really right now would love to have a yes from. Let's role play it out. Rob will be that person again, or himself, and the judge will give you some feedback when you're done. Hello to yes in 3 minutes for the ultimate sale, could be, or just a longer meeting. So Rob, you're just going to say who goes first, and then we'll take it from there.
Yes, I'm going to have Bill Castecki go first.
Cool. All right.
So Bill,
yeah, go ahead,
Bill,
Rob.
let me ask you, who am I in this role play? Who do you want me to be?
I would like you to be a prospective client that I called you out of the blue. You don't even know anything about me or what I do.
All right, awesome. Bill, cold call. Bill is taking it down with the cold call. I love this.
That's
awesome
it.
job, Bill. And that's like, Bill's a straight up assassin. I can feel it. And so 3 minutes, hello to yes, with a minute to go, Bill, you'll hear a buzzer, like a little alarm, 30 seconds and done. And then we'll get some feedback. Sound good?
All right. Sounds good. I'll give it my best.
Yeah, you're awesome, dude. Take us in.
Rob Gill speaking.
Hey, Rob, this is
Sorry, Bill. I'll pick up my phone. Rob Gill speaking.
Hey, Rob, this is Bill Castecki. I'm with Epic Financial Strategies. How you doing today?
What is this in reference to?
Listen, Rob, I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but do you have a quick minute and I can share with you what I do? And at the end of our call, we can decide what's the next best step.
Is it a sales call?
No, Rob, it's not a sales call. It's only if you'd be open to speaking with me, we'll decide what would be the next step.
Okay, so what's up, Bill?
All right, so Rob, are you familiar with myself or ever heard of our firm before?
No, I get calls all the time. As you can imagine, everybody's calling me under the sun.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. So my firm, and if you're not familiar and don't know or never heard of our name before, as I've gone through my career in the world of financial strategy, specifically here at Epic, we've identified that there's a substantial concern out there in our world when it comes to retirement, right? Growing up in a family where a blue collar family where parents just tried to make ends meet on a day-to-day basis. We are now approaching the first generation in history that's going to retire without pensions. And we identify, my folks identified that early on in their life that they were going to have to figure out a way to handle these things. And as I got older and got into, what I wanted to do with my life, I realized that I can make a substantial impact in helping people to do this type of retirement. This idea of being able to be financially independent for a back third of your life has a tremendous impact on people's lives. So I know, you probably are all taken care of and all set. But what I would like to do is, if you would be open to it, is spending 15 to 20 minutes with you over coffee and get to know you a little bit further and tell you a little bit of kind of what our firm does specifically for individuals like yourself.
Well, some of this sounds a little complicated. And as far as coffee, are you actually meeting people face to face?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll meet face to face now if you'd like. Or if we could make coffee in our Keurig and hop on a Zoom, whatever would be easiest for you.
So I mean, yeah, I would love to, but I want to make sure there's no obligation, and I'm not here to purchase anything. I just, I want to make sure that you understand that.
Rob, the only thing you'd be obligated to do is have a cup of coffee. That's it.
Okay, sounds good.
So what do you say? What works best for you next week, Tuesday or Thursday?
Wednesday.
Okay, let me check my calendar and see if I can make it. Wednesday is not going to work. How about the following week? I have Wednesday or Friday in the afternoon.
Monday.
All right, let me check my schedule again.
Excellent job, Bill. Awesome. How was that for you?
Yeah, that was terrible. I wasn't expecting to go first, but I feel okay.
All right, awesome. So,
okay.
Rob Gill, how did that connection how'd that connection feel?
Sean, I thought what he did was horrible. Like, it was so hard to do that the fact that he jumped in with that was amazing. I want to give him all the credit in the world. It is not easy to even attempt to do what he was doing. No. So, Bill, I'm sure on some level you got to feel really good because there's nothing easy about that, brother. Absolutely. I would suggest 3 choices on every single meeting. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent job, Rob Gill. Excellent job, Bill. Let's go to the judges. We're going to use 2 of the 3 judges are going to go each round. Let's kick this off with Teresa. What do you got? 25 seconds, 30 seconds of feedback at 25 seconds. You hear the buzzer. Judges are going to cut you off at 30 seconds hard just for time integrity because we're having a lot of time going on. Go ahead, Teresa.
Got it. Bill, nice to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
So I loved where you were going with talking about what it was like for you growing up in a blue collar family. I think a couple things that you could even develop more than what you did. For starters, when he asked you if this was a sales call, you said no, and then you kept going. I think you could just flat out say, it's not a sales call, but I'm looking for a face-to-face with you.
Gotcha.
And then when you started talking about the blue collar family, I would actually talk more about that and lean in a little deeper to what that was like for you.
Teresa, what do you got for a score? Awesome.
I would say 7.
All right. Mighty Joe Hagan.
Yeah, so this is something that I have a little bit of experience in, and I would say that Rob's like this right out of the gate, and then you try to, keep dancing and going through it while his guard was still up. You got to get his guard down, and you do that by building emotional rapport. And I would say, look, put your checkbook away. It's not a sales call. Allow me to make sense to you. I will be an asset for you if you give me 60 seconds. And once Rob says, all right, go ahead, then you can get into, as far as your heroic unique identity, as far as the blue collar stuff is great. But I would transition that blue collar stuff and say, listen, I lived, I breathed, I bred it. I watched my parents suffer from it. So I have studied from the best. And we have strategies that are world class. And I guarantee you, if you take a look at it and you let us give you a free portfolio review, that we'll sit down with a cup of coffee. But before we do that, all I'm asking for is an opportunity to understand more. Okay. And then you ask for another call. And what I never get, because you're calling him, is when he says, what time is he available? You make time for him. You don't start saying, well, let me check my schedule. You dial the phone to him. It doesn't. You can't sit there and say, well, no, it's not good for me. Well, why are you calling him? It's got to be convenient for him. You got to make it happen. And you got to talk about how you'll be an asset for him and get to that next call.
Joe, what'd you have for a score? Awesome.
I'd say for intention and heart and talking about it, he gets some certainly merit. He gets a 7.5.
Okay. Excellent job. Rob Gill, who we got next?
We have Tim Tedesco.
Tim, who would you like Rob to be?
Rob,
yes.
This might be a little strange. Can you be yourself and like in the situation we're in right now?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, sorry, Sean.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Tim. Yeah, Tim, take us in. Go ahead.
Cool. So Rob, right? Thanks for inviting me here. I kind of know why we're here and how we're here, but tell me a little bit about how you got here in the first place.
How I got where?
To involved with Sean, with Unblinded, with Chris Crone. How does an aspiring advisor get there? How do I get to that point?
That's thank you so much for asking that question. That does mean the world to me because in 2000, I want to say 15 and 16, I was lost. And I had read Tony Robbins' book, Money Masters of the Game. And I don't know if you read it or not, Tim, but in that book, he spoke about the importance of proper planning and fiduciaries. And did you read that? Did you happen to read that book?
No, I did not.
No. So that's okay. So
put on the list to read that.
No, but the important thing about in that book is he really does for someone that's not a fiduciary or has ever been in the financial services industry, although he's always being presented ideas. The book was so educational that it disrupted anyone in our space. If you just simply had a Series 7, he was really kind of, just saying, look, just because somebody has a 7 doesn't mean that they have your best interest. So he really focused in on fiduciary and Series 65 folks. And I thought that was incredible. Because in my prior space, I was very good at being able to bring clients on board in the business planning part. However, the team that I had with at that time, there was no fiduciaries. We're talking 2008, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So by the time I read the book, I was receptive towards, wow, this is really cool. What I didn't realize until I went to one of his events was that he actually was on the board of creative planning, which is featured in that book. And you could tell, like, as he was talking about it from his stage, there was folks that would invest with creative planning as a direct proximity handoff. I thought from a marketing and innovation standpoint, that was genius. So I had that in my head. And about a month after I went to my first UPW, I happened to see a guy in Monmouth County, New Jersey, at Rooney's Crab House, speaking in front of a bunch of doctors. And he was introduced as an attorney that got $27 and $33 million jury verdicts on 2 underdog cases. And they presented him as a 2014, 2016 top 100 jury verdicts, which is pretty incredible, 2 times. And when he started speaking, he did not sound like an attorney to me. He sounded like somebody that came directly from the Tony Robbins world. What I didn't know, and that was Sean Callagy, was he had at that point at least 20 years of financial, business, emotional breakthrough coaching in his repertoire between not only Tony Robbins, but Og Mandino, Napoleon Hill, and all the other coaches you could think of over time. And he'd done his homework, did his research. And I remember thinking, wow, I could be good partners with him. Let me go out and meet him. And I introduced myself and we kind of hit it off that night. I thought like the next day we were going to speak. We didn't speak again for 6 months, which I thought was phenomenal because if you look up in the dictionary, my face is under the word persistency. But when I did finally get to speak with him in February, 6 months later, whatever it was, I went to one of his practice mastery launches. He then came to my office here in Red Bank. And from then on, our relationship really blossomed. And I had asked him, if he's Tony Robbins, Epic could be creative planning. And I had said that back in, I want to say March 2018. And that had eventually led through him and his ecosystem mergers. I don't meet Chris Crone without Sean. And even if I met Chris without Sean, the impact and the speed of acceleration doesn't happen with Chris, other than Sean told Chris how great I was.
Wow, that's incredible. I love the persistency. I want to ask. It sounds like Tony Robbins was a big influence, and you mentioned the word fiduciary a couple of times. Was it a personal experience or something that kind of drove you to want to take charge and start that type of planning?
Well, Tony, what I find interesting is Sean Callagy is the living, breathing example of what Tony teaches on stage. He is the byproduct of what success in all areas look like. There's a lot of people that go in and out of the Tony Robbins ecosystem, and it's not Tony's fault, but a lot of people go there and they may not achieve what they want to achieve. I was lucky enough to meet Sean, who happens to be the best of the best of the best, the most uncommon of a bunch of uncommon people in that world that is just successful in all areas. And as a result of that, I clung to him. When it comes to fiduciary, I want to make sure that if anyone comes through these doors, that they are met with someone that is a fiduciary, understands best interest from the wealth management side of the table, and puts people's money to work in a proper fashion.
Wow, no, that's awesome. So, where do you really see yourself going? I know you've blown up so far. Where do you see this thing going?
Sean, did you say 30 seconds?
Yes, sir.
I see this. Thank you for that question. Wow, that's a really good question. I want to escape 5 and 3 years and just focus on the now in 6 months, maybe 12 months, because things are constantly changing. But I do see that Epic itself will scale from a standpoint of advisors, let's say from 10 to 30, assets under management from, let's say, 25 million to 100 million. I like to see us deliver 2 life insurance policies a day, every single business day, average premium of 15,000, which would result in 7 million in premium a year.
Awesome. Well, listen, I know we got to stop here, but, it sounds like, you may have some challenges coming with growing. We would love to chat more about this, and see, how I can be a resource for you. How does, next week, Monday afternoon or Tuesday night look?
Neither one look good.
All right. Tim, excellent job, brother. How was that for you?
For me?
Yeah.
It was good. I felt like Rob did more of the talking than I did, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Brother, it's a great thing.
It's the best.
You asked the question that made that dude talk for minutes. So in any sales situation, right, at a minimum, the other person should talk 2/3 of the time. If they talk 4/5 of the time, it probably means things went even better. You allowed Rob to tell the story of his life, like besides his family, of course. Like that's what he wants to tell. Rob, do you love telling that story?
I love telling it, and to your point, Sean, understanding the fact that the advisor talks less is a golden opportunity to really have an impact with that client.
Absolutely, brother. Right. It's microseconds. You could talk to somebody for 10 minutes as an advisor, as an attorney, as an accountant, and just ask questions and then say, hey, you know what? I'd love to have a longer discussion, longer meeting. And if you've asked the right questions and listened authentically from your heart, they will say yes 99.9% of the time. Right. So take that. Michael Schmeiken, what do you got for Tim?
So Tim, I felt what you felt, right? That I wasn't sure who was trying to influence who in that conversation. I think that Rob dominated it. But like Rob and Sean both shared, that I think said a lot about the ability of you asking questions. And that is the tool to get around ego, to break through defense, for people and to get them talking. And I thought that Rob really, his energetic state was so positive towards you in sharing that story that you had that wash over you. So I thought the power of asking questions was great. I thought your listening was great. You asked great follow-up questions for him. You at the tail end of that, you kind of capitalized on all those feel-good feelings and said, hey, I think there may be some challenges here with growth and helping you to achieve the result. Would it be okay if I reached out to you? Just great acknowledgement, validation. If I had to say one thing that I would have liked to see you do a little bit better is the question that you asked him. It wasn't clear what the result you were trying to achieve was, except for establish emotional rapport. If that's the result that you wanted to achieve, then great. But if you wanted to get him talking about something specifically, you probably should have asked a more specific question, which would have allowed you to kind of steer him in the direction that you wanted him to go. And really trying to go in that direction.
Excellent, Mike. A score.
I gave Tim an 8.25 just because he was able to get Rob to open up and talk, which is not necessarily challenging, but I just
Teresa, what do you got?
Hey, sorry, there's a little bit of noise here. I love that you had him talking so much. And I echo everything that Michael said. I probably would have directed some of the questions a little bit more so that you could have asked for, hey, Rob, can I have 30 seconds to tell you a little bit about myself? Because if he got cut off and had to go quickly, you would have not been able to tell him who you are. So, but overall for me, I thought it was great and I give you an 8.
Tim, excellent work, sir. Rob, we got, who's up next?
Next up, we have Mr. Mike Gorman.
All right, Mike, who would you like Rob to be?
Mike, you're on mute.
You're on mute, brother. On mute.
Okay, Rob, you're the entrepreneur of a small company in Plano, Texas. you've just gotten a $300 million loan and to do some oil and gas. Dave, you'll see what I'm doing here. And I want to be I'm going to call you to ask you to become the face of the company in Oman.
All right. Mike, take us in. Awesome.
Okay. Neil, congratulations on getting the $300 million loan. You know, we've worked together for the last 10 years. Early in the stages, I went out and raised $50 million for you. We did drill our exploratory wells. We do have vast deposits. I think it can be 400 trillion cubic feet of gas, maybe $80 billion of oil, but we're not sure. One of the problems you've had over the last 10 years is the inability to raise capital. It's going to be a constancy because we're going to need billions of dollars of infrastructure to build out this plan. You're going to need somebody in place to constantly raise the money. I've known you for 10 years. I've spent a long time with you. Every time I've worked with you, I've worked with other people and gotten the job accomplished. So I would like to come down and see if we can negotiate a package that'll work for me and for you so that we can take this company to a world-class dimension and accomplish all the dreams that we've tried to do over the last almost 8 years. And then we'll give them the fatal alternative. How would Thursday at 3 in Plano or Friday at 5 be better?
So, Mike, thank you for that. One of the local guys here in Plano, Texas, one of the good old boys, wants to sit down and talk to me.
Excellent.
And I want to be transparent because I know we've done business over the last 10 years. But this guy has connections in this space that go back generationally.
That's in the United States, I assume.
Yes.
So he doesn't have any connections in Oman. So while it's important, it's going to take somebody that's going to A, be willing to spend the time there, B, get the job done. And I've delivered for anybody that I've ever worked for. So if you need the person to do it at the right price,
what would that entail? What are we looking at from a time perspective? What is the normal range of price? Where do you fit in that price point? What does that look like?
We're minimum comp as far as compensation, nothing big. Large plan for options. So it's a success quotient. If we achieve our objectives, we both win.
30 seconds.
It's just enough to make it work for you and I. We set some timelines and some benchmarks, and we go out and hit it.
And how many people do you have on your team that can help in this process? It's such a big deal.
Well, we've got some drilling teams in place, but what you need is a person that can go out and be the face of the company, dealing with suppliers, dealing with regulatory issues with the United States and with Oman. And I've got the experience to get those things done.
So God forbid, if you shuffled off this mortal coil, who's going to pick up the ball and finish the work that you've put together?
10 seconds.
You'll have to find the right person to do that because when you have some unique talents, that's not easy to do. But hopefully we can build out a team that can make those places for me if I'm not around.
All right. Excellent job, Mike. How'd it feel for you?
Not terrible, but not great.
Okay. Awesome. Rob, what would you say if you had one word to describe the connection between you and Mike? What would you say?
I felt like Mike was a boss, straight up, that I had no choice but to listen and say yes. I felt that kind of pull, and I had no clue what we were talking about.
That's awesome.
Just so you know, yep. I had no clue.
Joe Hagan, what do you got, sir? We got 30 seconds, keeping time integrity. What's happening? We got from Mike.
Yeah, no, similar. I looked away for the first literally 5 seconds, and I came back, and it was already into gas deposits, exploratory markets, 80 billion oil. I just missed in 5 seconds. So there was no emotional rapport built first. I did like a lot of the bullet points in there, and I think when he came back, and Rob, basically when Rob asked a couple of difficult questions, there's a lot in this conversation that has to happen. And I think it could have been better just in a bullet sheet. Listen, we got the best drilling teams. We'll take care of you. We'll do this. And all we need is that next meeting and just try and set up all the details in the next meeting. A lot of information there. It was a little incongruent. I'd give him an 8.
Excellent. Michael Schmeiken.
Hey, Mike, how's it going? I picked up what Rob picked up as well. Like, you had some very powerful vocal qualities, some serious confidence, what we refer to as a Zeus energy, which is just this powerful, like, decision-making, authority, energy state. And Rob was kind of trying to hang with you, but I think in a lot of different ways, he was voicing some clear uncertainty. And you were answering his questions, but you were dealing more with the symptoms than the problem, which was his uncertainty. And so I think you could have gotten a lot out of just asking him and saying, Rob, what's the nature of the uncertainty? You're asking me questions about the team, how many people I'm going to put on it, if something were to happen to me, what are you afraid of? You're talking about potentially this other group. What is it that's potentially giving you pause? Just give me an idea. And Rob is going to say, well, I just wanted to make sure that I have the right person for the job, and that it's not just going to be you. There's going to be a whole team in place. They're like, Rob, let me tell you what I'm going to do.
Mike, what'd you have for a score, bud? We got to time.
Yep, all good. Mike, I gave you a 7.75 on that.
Yeah. And guys, because I don't want to cut you off in the middle of something. When we hear the buzzer, we got 5 seconds to go. Great job, Mike, of course. And Michael's incredible with your wisdom. Thank you, Michael. Rob, who do we got next, sir?
Derek Ossie.
All right, Derek,
All
who
right.
did Rob to be?
Here we go. So Rob, I want you to be someone who is between 30, 40 years old, dealing with a large amount of student loan debt, plus 250, $250,000, dealing with a large monthly payment, and has a small family.
Boom. Derek, take us in, brother.
All right. And Rob, just preface this real quick. This is a light referral by our buddy Dave Harder.
What is my monthly payment on the 250? Do you know?
About $4,500.
Okay.
Okay.
$4,500 a year.
$4,500 a month.
Okay, got it.
All right. So, hey, Rob, how you doing today? How are things?
Good. Who's this?
This is Derek Ossie. Actually, I was put in touch with you by Dave Harder. He reached out and said you may have some questions regarding your student loans.
Oh, yeah. How you doing, Derek?
I'm good. We're just kind of hanging along here. Crazy time, but we're getting through it. But before we jump into all the talk about student loans and that fun thing, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself before we get into all that?
I'm located down here in Red Bank, New Jersey. I have we have our own independent financial planning, wealth management practice. And, I have a wife and 3 kids, and along the way, just trying to clean up my debt and really kind of focus in on kind of putting money to work for me instead of working for other people.
Awesome. Well, that's great. It's great that you have a family. I'm building my own family myself. I'm up here in North Jersey, Jersey City area. But yeah, so what, so you said you were, working for the financial services firm. What do you do for fun?
Once you have 3 kids and it's ages 10, 14 and 15, you really don't own any of your private time.
Fair enough.
Sometimes what I do consider fun, every once in a blue moon, I will binge watch a Netflix series. Usually happens once every 2 or 3 months. And interestingly enough, I'm a Generation Xer, and The Karate Kid was a very famous movie when I was growing up. And coincidentally, I just watched 2 seasons of Cobra Kai on Netflix.
Funny enough, I'm a big fan of Cobra Kai myself. I was actually watching it when it was on the YouTube series before they made it over to Netflix. But yeah, just to kind of get our conversation here. I know we're short on time here, but just to kind of give me a baseline on what's going on with your loans. How much debt do you currently have out?
Obviously the debt that I think is really challenging us, including this. I mean, we're at interest rates that are 50-year lows right now.
Yeah.
The debt that's really challenging us is the student loan debt.
Okay.
That's about $250,000.
Oh, okay.
We owe about $500,000 on our house in a 30-year mortgage, and credit card debt maybe $20,000 or $30,000.
Okay. Well, just so you know, in this day and age in the world that we're living in, $250,000 is kind of becoming the average for student loans. So don't feel bad about that. But I want to ask you a question. How long has this been an issue for you, specifically for the loans?
How long what?
How long has it been an issue for you with these student loans?
just for the last 15 years, it's just something that just seems like it's not going away.
So do you think we could wait another 15 years to kind of, get a hold on this?
No, I don't want to wait another 15 years.
All right, so why don't we do this? Since we're a little bit short on time, why don't we schedule some time maybe next week? We'll figure out a time that works for both of us, and we can kind of dig a little bit deeper into these loans and get these things taken care of. That work for you?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, great.
Excellent stuff, man. How is that for you?
Okay, I feel like it's tough on the 3 minutes, because I like to build a little bit of a rapport there. But I think I got towards where I was trying to go with it.
Yeah, excellent. And I would say, guys, just always remember, like, rapport first. If there's no rapport, we're Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 right? Rapport is everything. Dude, like Rob was saying before, you could not know anything that's happening in, like, anything somebody's talking about, but you feel deeply heard and listened to, they're going to want to talk more and have another conversation in the meeting. So depth of listening, like full presence. And it's like, hey, listen, I know we ran out of time. It was cool if we said 15 minutes. Oh, yeah, of course. By the way, what do you do? Right? Because you felt so heard. That's it. So really good, great job. And don't worry about that of overbuilding rapport and having the time there. So excellent stuff. Teresa, what do you got?
Hey, Derek. Nice to hear your voice.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Good. How are you?
I'm good.
I loved your setup, by the way. And I loved your energy. I think that when Rob told you that he had 3 children, you could have taken a moment there and dug into that a little bit more with him. And that would have given, to me, that would have been the place to lean in, and I would have worried less about the numbers, because you could get to that later. That was just my observation, but overall, I thought you were great, and I'd give you an 8.
Teresa. Hey, Joe Hagan.
Yeah, I think it was self-diagnosed by Derek, yourself, and Teresa. I thought he did an excellent job building rapport, time integrity, understanding the 3 minutes. When he said, so what do you do for fun? I'm like, he's not sitting down for coffee right now. And he asked an open-ended question, which can kind of get lost in the weeds. And what Teresa said was accurate. He hit on family. Say, hey, listen, address the family, and then just finish with everything else that he said after that. And he would have got everything he needed in the 3 minutes. And if it wasn't for that, it probably would have been a 9, but I'd give it an 8.5.
Yeah, excellent. Great job there. And let's just roll it for a second. Hey, Rob, how are you? Thanks so much for taking that call today. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, Sean. Thanks.
Yeah. And so listen, I know we've been hanging out a little bit together and doing different things. But I'm not sure where you're taking all this. I see you have Infinity X. You're doing this Real Raw thing. You have Epic, in YouTube videos. What's going on, man?
You're just trying to get our message out there, brother. Touch as many people as we can from an educational standpoint in the financial planning space, but at the same time, connect people so they can achieve their dreams as well.
Yeah, but it seems like I'm hearing you, but it seems like there's this real urgency. There's all kinds of things going on. What's underneath that, and where are you taking all this?
We're looking to take it to a place where we create a national presence. We're able to open up offices throughout the country, create partnerships as well. And, I just kind of feel like, as we talk about, Sean, we don't know, sometimes we divorce ourselves from the outcome. But the one thing I don't want to lose is the momentum that's being built, and just keep innovating and innovating and innovating. And that's kind of what's happening right now.
Yeah. So I hear it. I mean, you're succeeding, things are happening, but, I know we only got about a minute to go, but I'd love to know from people why. Why?
For me, Rob Gill, and I appreciate you digging on this. I grew up not having any money. I grew up where my family was not educated about money. My dad worked 3 jobs, and they still bounced checks when I went to high school in Jersey City at St. Peter's Prep. Wow. And, I made it a point to myself that I felt so helpless that I was not going to allow that to happen to me when I got older, that I'd be part of that outcome and that decision making. And I'd make sure that if I understood that, how to really kind of create financial abundance, I wanted to be able to share that with other people, because I've learned by sharing, giving, a lot of good things really begin to happen if you mean it from the heart. And that's why I'm doing Infinity X specifically.
So I'm hearing, brother, is that you had an enormous amount of stuff to overcome growing up, a lot of financial pain and crazy.
Yep.
And you not only have you left that behind, but you want to impact other people and lessen their suffering, not just through financial planning, but by being inspiration. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I mean, listen, growing up in high school, my may he rest in peace. My sister in grammar school, my sister was in rehab because she was a heroin addict. My dad was in rehab for alcoholism. When I was a sophomore in high school, I lived with my aunt. My parents did the best they can, and I always say I got raised by a pack of wolves, wolf pack. But they did the best they can in any given situation, and I just don't want people to feel the way I felt. And if they do, I want them to know there's a solution.
Brother, we got in the last 20 seconds, can I share a little bit about me?
Please.
Yeah. So first, I cannot believe how open and vulnerable you were. And thank you for sharing all that. Second, I think it made you a warrior, where you were and what you overcame. And I'm seeing it and hearing it. And I also hear through the grapevine what an unbelievable father and husband you are. So what I'd love to do is have a 15-minute call, because I'm looking to partner with people. I own a law firm. I'm going to create partnerships where we leverage each other's worlds integrously on stages and microphones and make things happen. Would that work for you?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So let me ask you, I'm your friend. We talk all the time. We joke, we laugh. With how I just acknowledged you, how'd it feel?
I felt heard. I felt that, what I said mattered. And you had you gave me an opportunity to share what drives me, and even pulled it out of me.
Yeah. And how did it feel though? You felt heard. I get it, but how did it feel? What emotion did it feel like?
What emotion? Relief.
Yeah. Right. Which creates connection.
Yep.
In a huge way. And I spoke about myself.
Yep.
For 15 seconds. And there's no way everybody in this call, unless they're busy and distracted and on a phone, which is cool. But if anybody's present, there's no way you don't feel the energy. Like, Teresa, do you feel that energy?
100%.
Yeah. And that's why we don't have to talk a lot about ourselves. When we listen deeply and acknowledge from our heart, not our head, not, okay, let me acknowledge intellectually. So Rob, you overcame a lot of obstacles. That's excellent. Very impressive. Here's what I want to talk to you about. It's heart to heart, seeing people. Awesome job, Rob. That's what's present we're doing here. So Rob, who's next?
Kevin Galbraith.
Kevin, who do you want Rob to be?
All right, Rob, you just be yourself, okay?
This will be easy for you.
Yes, Kevin, take this in. Hey, Kevin, can you please make this all work and go okay? No,
I'm going to try. Should I time myself?
No, I got it. Good.
Okay, you got my timer. Hey, Rob, Kevin Galbraith calling. We met through our mutual friend, Mike, a while back. How have you been?
Good, Kev. How you doing? I'm not on the clock, am I?
No, you're not on the clock. You're not on the clock. It's great to talk to you. How's your family?
They're doing good. This COVID thing was crazy. I got to spend more time with my children than I ever did. I got to know them in ways that I didn't know that's who they were. And for that, I'm so grateful. And we were able to connect and also make adjustments on what needs to happen going forward. So that was cool because I got a 15-year-old and a 14-year-old, both going 9th and 8th grade, and my daughter, who's 10, who completely runs the show, which I wasn't even aware of.
This is all sounding very familiar. My kids are 18, 15, and 10, and somehow the 10-year-old has got the rule of the roost. So there must be something about youngest children.
Yes.
And are they
go
back?
check them out on TikTok because there's some crazy things happening over there.
Are your kids remote or in person or a combination?
A little emotion this year because this was the first time they were all in 3 separate schools. So my oldest is going to CBA. My middle is still in his Catholic grammar school. And then my daughter, the youngest, chose, she didn't want to go to that school anymore. So she went to the public school. Two are there every day, and the third is remote 3 days of the 5 days a week.
Okay. Okay. Well, you're raising your kids to have their own opinions and views and take a sense of ownership of their education. So you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, Rob, I run a law firm. Our practice areas are pretty well aligned with a lot of the work that you do. I know something about what your businesses are. You do alternative investments, insurance strategies, motivational speaking, education, inspiration. Most of all, you're building partnerships, right? Everything I know about you from our prior conversation and from everybody that we know in common tells me that everything you do with energy and integrity. I'd love to meet up with you in person, remote, whatever you're comfortable with at your convenience, to really explore how you and I can partner to help each other going forward. So I think one of the things that I'd love to hear from you today, if you got just 30 seconds for me, is tell me a little bit more about the principles that drive you as a business person and as a person.
You know, I've been in the financial services game since 1996, and I've had great teachers along the way. And every opportunity that I've had, you know, you make mistakes, right? And when you make mistakes, or albeit, you learn not to make the same mistake again. And the thing that I'm excited to talk to you about is building a legal arm behind what we do is very important, especially in life for the massive acceleration that we're doing right now. And I've never had that mindset before. I've always been entrepreneurial, but I'm excited that I've finally grown up and I'm listening to people around me about the importance of having the legal component behind us, not just from a compliance perspective, but for what you have to offer.
Listen, I'm honored. I'm honored to even be considered. How's the first half of next week to sit down?
Right.
Sounds good.
Sounds excellent. Kevin, great job, brother. How'd that feel for you?
It felt good. It felt good. You know, I had the benefit of going 5th or 6th here, so I could take some notes and kind of structure how I was going to approach this. But it felt good.
Right.
You know, Rob is very approachable and genuine and straightforward and warm. So I knew that if we could just establish a little bit of rapport, that we could warm up and have a good conversation.
Awesome. Rob, how was that for you? Just one word and how would you, one word for the feeling of connection and a score on the connection only?
Soothing 9. Soothing 9.
Awesome. All right. Michael Schmeiken, who, along with Rob, have done such an incredible job of digging into this formula and becoming obsessed with how influence works. Michael, what do you got?
So Kevin, wow. You are just so likable. It's unreal. Your emotional transportation, your vocal qualities, your congruence, just tremendous. It makes you so likable and so approachable. You know, I can see why Rob finds you to be soothing. The questions that you ask, your level 5 listening, all tremendous. You know, in all honesty, the only thing that I would have wanted more from that I could possibly call out is potentially create some more scarcity. But I feel like you and Rob had actually wrapped so well together that I think that both of you are just going to create this amazing energetic state. And by the way, I usually don't score this high. I'm going to give you a 9.5. I thought you did tremendous.
Boom. Michael Schmeiken throwing a big number up there. Great job, Kevin. Teresa, what do you got?
Well, I gave you a 9.5 also. I love that you leaned into the kids. I love that you asked for the extra 30 seconds. You seemed extremely sincere. I loved your energy, and you got Rob excited.
Awesome job, man. Rob Gill, what do you got, brother?
Next up, we have David Harder.
Okay, we have Dave, and then we have, is David the final participant, or we have one more?
Nope, then we have Greg.
Awesome. All right, yeah, Dave and Greg.
And then we have Dave, Greg, and Lennon.
All right, let's go. Awesome group of people.
Right.
So Dave, let's drop in, man. Who you want Rob to be?
Rob, what I want you to be a CPA that I've sent some introductions to and we've done some work with, but we've never had a conversation about setting up a partnership together.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Dave, take us in, man.
All right. Hey, Rob, it's Dave. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Dave?
Not much, brother. You keeping your head above water? You must be relieved after yesterday, huh?
Yeah, but we're just gonna get busy all over again. It's the time just so crazy. I'm very grateful, and being able to help people is amazing. But this is something that I've never seen before.
I know, and Rob, honestly, I wanted to thank you, because I every single introduction that I've sent over to you over the past couple of years, when we're getting to know one another a little bit, has really just been absolutely white glove, and you work your tail off. I'm super impressed with you as a person and as a professional. And what I also observed during this time, especially with COVID and, all the PPP loans that you applied for, all the service work that you did, what was the experience like during this time? Did you feel like your head was kind of like getting below the water a little bit? Was it challenging for you?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the whole PPP experience was a challenge because they kept changing the rules and the target. They kept moving the goalpost, right? How much you're going to get, when are you going to get it? Do you get it if you're an S Corp or C Corp or a 1099? All these different things kept, and then when you pay it back, you had to pay it back by June 15th or July 15th, and they extended it, but you got to pay it back from the same account. All these different things that came into play. But I was also able to develop good relationships with people as a result of it.
Yeah, and you're unbelievably great at that, Rob. And you have such a superpower of influence with the people that you work with. And one of the things that causes me concern with other, call it businesses that I've had some experience with in the past is, well, from a next step standpoint, can they keep up what they're doing? And also, what's next for them? Rob, have you ever thought about, what the next step is with your business? I mean, and in light of, billable hours getting squeezed, you have to charge more. Have you ever thought about stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, you always think about, how you're gonna, build your business. But, if you could give me more to your question, I'm not sure if it's leading to something, but yeah, I mean, I've thought about it. Yeah.
Well, and yeah, it is leading to something, because one thing that,
30 seconds.
One thing that dawned on me is that you and I have never really had a conversation about, how, adding, call it a department of financial services to your practice could actually expand the value of your practice. So when you go to sell it in the future, because, if that's something that you want to take a look at, how it would make it more appealing for, a takeover or someone to want to look at buying the practice, but also how it might even be able to help you to keep your billables flat. You maybe not have to increase cost with the clients that you're working with, but keep it at a level playing field, all while increasing the revenue flows that are coming into the practice. I've actually had some experience with that, and I'd love to share a little bit more with you about it. If you'd be open to it, I'd love to sit down with you either next Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday and just kind of talk about it a little bit more. Which would be the least hectic of those days, brother?
All right, boom. Done. Excellent job, Dave. We got the schedule. Dave, super impressive. How'd that feel for you?
It felt good. It felt good, Sean. I also feel like I've cheated a little bit because I've gotten to see a couple of the other folks go. But I felt relatively immersed into the formula, Sean. I've studied. I continue to study Rob. I'm a student of him, and I try to go at it from the deepest level of emotional relationship and rapport that I can find. I think that's something that has kind of developed in me. And that's kind of the way that I try to leverage that. And I also try to get it to a little bit of the scarcity as well. So it felt pretty good.
Awesome congruence. Joe Hagan, what do you got for Dave Harder?
I thought it was great. It was obviously he knows Rob. It was very good rapport back and forth. I think the only thing that confused me, appeared to confuse Rob as well. I didn't know Rob was an attorney with billable hours. I don't know what billable hours are. And Rob was a little confused, but then he kind of backdoored into financial services. I would have rather have him say, after they had that report, to talk about his unique identity and how that could be a feature and a benefit to him, and then lead to another follow-up meeting for his financial services. So I'd say it's a 9 otherwise.
Awesome, brother. Michael Schmeiken. Countdown 25 seconds.
Hey guys, Dave, I thought you did a really tremendous job. I think Rob had given essentially a softball by saying, "Hey, I don't know where all this is leading." There was a part where you were going back and forth and you were talking and sharing. It felt like you were buttering him up a little bit towards something. And I think maybe if you were a little bit more direct with what you were looking for in terms of sharing your outcome, you would have left less to his imagination as to what was needed. But other than that, congruence, vocal qualities, tonality, everything was fantastic.
Excellent. Score, Mike?
Yep. I gave Dave a 9.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Great job, Dave.
Thank
Rob Gill.
Lennon Herrera.
Lennon, drop it in, brother. Who's Rob?
Rob, you want to be yourself on this one? We'll just have like a friendly conversation.
Let's go.
All right, you got it. Rob, what's up, brother? How are you?
Hey, what's up, Lennon? How you doing, man?
Good, man. Hanging in there. Just finished 9:15. Excited. I just wanted to reach out to you. I know during the COVID time, we always had a conversation about sitting down and looking at your tax plan. Wanted to see if that's of some interest to you.
Yeah, listen, I mean, things are so crazy, but yeah, sitting down, you know what it is? Taxes are so scary to me. And the way we do taxes, you know, I always want to make sure that anyone new gives me an open, honest opinion, but at the same time, it's a vulnerable thing, like letting people into your world financially to see that.
Listen, I completely understand, but a couple of things that I know about you and just wanted to make sure that we're taking advantage of those tax liability, of those tax deductions. So for example, college planning, have you set money aside for your kids? Have you structured it through your business the way you could deduct that?
It's so funny you say that. I have done college planning through the insurance policy strategies, but I have not done it through the business. And I hate to say it, I know I should be.
Right.
And I haven't done it yet.
Well, effectively, let's say you're in a tax margin of about 20%. With 2 kids, 14 and 15, that's about a $4,800 tax savings that you could potentially be passing up on.
Yeah.
So there's a couple more strategies that I'd like to sit down with you and have this full conversation. I mean, we have about 64 of them, and I think you might not be utilizing them correctly. How about this? Let's set up a time next week, and we could review them completely.
I'm busy next week.
Okay. So if I was to say that I could save you about another 10 grand, you're still busy? I think you can make 30 minutes for me.
Yeah, I'm good next
I
week.
throwing it down. Awesome.
What day works best? Tell me.
Let's do Wednesday, 11 a.m.
You got it.
11. How was that for you, Adam?
Good. I just kind of felt like I switched into too much of a little bit of a pushy salesman, which I didn't like towards the end.
Yeah, no, understood. And you were running tight on time, but I think you did a great job. A lot of fun energy. It's fully present. Teresa, what do you have for Lennon? Countdown.
Hey, Len, that was fun. I think that you self-diagnosed a little bit, and that I would have liked to seen you lean in a little more with him when he started talking about the frustrations with the PPP, because I think there's access there that every entrepreneur faces when dealing with things of that nature, that you could have led him into a little bit of a sigh of relief, and then rolled right into what sort of solutions that you can provide for him. But overall, I thought you were awesome. Loved your energy, and I give you a 9.
Wow. That's great.
No Hagen.
Yeah, I didn't even think he was being a pushy salesman. I think it was just a response to Rob laughing. And I think he could have laughed along with him and said, I'm feeling your laughter coming from a place of acknowledgement, that that I have something that's going to be a benefit of you. So just do a feel, felt, found. And I understand how you feel with that laughter. What you'll find is when I show you these,
ooh, Joe Hagen,
when we make time next week, you're going to realize that the next time we talk, we're going to be laughing about, things other than, your kids' college tuition and saving money, because I'm going to take care of that by then. All right. So what time is best for you next week?
Okay.
What you got for a score, Joe?
I'd have a 9 too.
Nice. Rob Gill,
Last one.
certainly
We
not
got
least.
one more person. One more person.
Last but certainly not least. Yes.
Certainly not least. And this is the guy that you gave a high compliment to, Greg P. Greg, take it over, brother.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it. This is the role I'd like you to play if possible. You're going to be you running Epic Services. I'm going to be following up from the Steelers and Giants game that we had a conversation at the tailgate. And I'm going to ask you for some support and a donation to the scholarship where I sit on the board of a nonprofit.
Nice.
Good?
Take us in, Greg.
Sure.
All right, perfect. Hey, Rob, it's Greg Prococcino. How are you?
Hey, Greg, what's up, man? You doing okay after the loss?
I'll tell you, I can't complain. It's all about growth, and that's what this team's going to be doing is evolving and growing, just like our business, right?
Yeah, it'll be a while for the growth, though.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you can't win. Even heroes bleed sometimes, Rob. The one thing I wanted to ask you, more importantly, how's the family, and are they healthy and safe during this unprecedented time right now?
Wait, say that one more time, Greg. You went in and out. I'm sorry.
How's the family doing through this crazy time? Are they healthy and safe?
Everybody, knock on wood, cousins, family, my kids, my wife, everybody's healthy and safe. Thank you for asking.
Of course, man. And how's business? Business is going, I'm sure.
It was the scariest thing, March 20th to like April 10th, 15th, maybe 20th. And I never would have expected what happened after that.
Of course. Well, it looks like we're all persevering and being resilient, and that's part of our business. So, Rob, the reason I wanted to reach out to you, I know at a high level, I talked to you about the nonprofit that I sit on, the Fuji 14 Foundation. And I hold that near and dear to my heart personally, because obviously it is a scholarship that we give to high school students, but for both academics as well as for athletics. And it's in honor of my best friend, Chris Callagy, who lost his battle with pancreatic cancer at 38. What we do is we solicit, really strong businesses and especially locally, but with your reputation in the marketplace and with what you've done for the community, if you're open to it, I would love to have, if possible, a few minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes to come over. We'll have coffee. It could be a Zoom. It can be in person, whatever accommodates you. But just to talk through really the mission and vision of what we've done in the last 6 years since he's passed, how we've been able to keep his twins in school, how we've been able to give scholarships to 2 or 3 really, really phenomenal athletes and scholars at the high school level. And I think to have your stamp and your name and Epic as part of a sponsorship opportunity, I think it would be tremendous. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for
20 seconds.
Offering that to me. My dad, and may your friend rest in peace, by the way, my dad.
Thank you so much,
who
Rob.
passed away. My dad passed away in 2009. I opened up a scholarship for him at St. Peter's Prep, which I went to high school, and I would pay $10,000 for a student to go there. Me and my brother would do that.
That's awesome.
And one of those students actually now works for me. So yeah, listen, I love the idea.
Okay.
I would love to sit down and talk to you and see where we can go from there.
Rob, I can't thank you enough. I'm sensitive to your schedule. So how's next Tuesday or Thursday around 11 a.m.?
I'm good Wednesday.
Okay, well then I'll make it work. I'm going to accommodate you. Listen, thank you so much for the time. And, I really, really sincerely appreciate it. And say hi to everybody. And I hope everybody stays safe and healthy, buddy.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, take care, Rob. Thanks.
Sure.
Greg, excellent work, man. Empathy, like connection, energy there. Beautiful presence. How'd that feel for you?
I tell you, it felt good. And I think it felt good, Sean, because it's coming from a place where it's, I'm part of this organization and I've watched it thrive and grow. And I think it comes natural, right? Mm-hmm. It was so impressive to hear everybody in the way that they position themselves. And I guess that's a benefit to go and last. But I think that's what it's about. It's about being a connector and being a genuine connector,
Yeah. You have phenomenal communication skills. Agree, Rob?
Listen, I don't even know him that well at all until today. His skill set is incredible the way he communicates.
Yeah, no doubt. Michael Schmeiken, what do you got for this man?
Whoa. So, Greg, holy cannoli, I don't even know how to describe it. You have such a magnetism to you. You transferred so many different energetic states that one couldn't help but be like enamored with your energy, with your love, with your caring and everything. I like Rob, don't really know much about you, but and I know we're role playing, but I want to know more about what you're doing. I want to like be a part of that. Like, it just sounds like such a tremendous mission. So I thought you did a tremendous job. I couldn't even, like, I'm thinking to myself, I couldn't even think of one thing that I would tell you to have done differently. Do that every time you pick up the phone with someone. Such wonderful magnetism.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Yep. And Greg, I'm going to give you a 9.5. High scores. Wow. This round. Awesome people.
Awesome job, Mike. Awesome. And Michael, your feedback is tremendous. Great job. Teresa.
Thank you, Sean.
Hey, I thought that was amazing. I'd give him a 9.9. The only thing I would do differently maybe would be, I would have loved to hear a little more of the story of the friends and why the not-for-profit. But other than that, I thought that was fabulous.
Yeah. I'm going to say this straight up. Best 3 judges ever. Best 3 judge team on any Real Raw. 137. This is the best panel. Teresa, Joe, Michael. Absolutely epic. Not to use a pun, Rob. Epic job. So quick, Michael, 10-second takeaway. How was today for you?
For me?
I was asking Michael real quick.
Judging. Yeah, so, I mean,
10 seconds, no brother.
I can't believe that this is 137. Like, what a testament to you being able to bring people together like this caliber of people, this level of influence. I'm just, obviously I'm honored to be a judge on this panel, honored to see these people, and I've learned from you guys all today. This was, and like you, I don't want to take a pun, but it's the only word that comes to me is this was epic.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen without Rob, yourself, Joe, Teresa, of course. Joe, how's today for you? Quick 10 seconds.
Real quick, I'm going to use my time to be the third judge on Greg. Class was in session. To go from a tailgate and to minimize like macho football talk, and even heroes bleed, and to take it into that, class was in session. And everybody today did an awesome job, and I learned, a lot. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, and listen, Joe, what you got going, Rob does, Teresa, Michael, and influence and stay in this incredible group of people. This was the #1 Railroad Open that has ever happened.
Get that on Facebook.
Yeah, get that on Facebook.
Get that on Facebook.
#1 Real Raw Open.
Get that on Facebook.
Right. So, and by the way, I want to have a face-off. I want to have a face-off between the mighty Rob Gill, right? And a mighty man you're going to see this weekend, who you guys are vying for the #1 Real Raw Open ever. He'll be here this week, and we'll talk about it. So, Rob, I'm giving you this. This is #1. I'm giving you that. So, unbelievable job. So, Teresa, what do you got? Quick 10 seconds.
Well, I think it's an honor to be here in the company of such great communicators and also people who you can clearly see that they love what they do. They're passionate about it. And there's a lot of heart in the energy. I'm honored, and thank you.
Yeah, awesome, Teresa. Great job. And of course, Rob Gill, this does not happen without the one and only Carolyn DeSena. So let us know. Yeah.
No, I can't do a 10x10 without her at all. Let me be very clear about that, Sean.
This was great. You guys rocked it. It was awesome. I was just watching you guys, and you guys really nailed it tonight. So congratulations to all of you.
And Carolyn is one of the most talented salespeople, influencers, heart-centered, authentic that you will ever see on the planet. So thank you, Carolyn.
I'm deserving of that, but it's Sean coming.
Wait, you forgot Goddess on the top of the mountain throwing lightning bolts at people with super Zeus energy. You forgot that.
that is Carolyn DeSena. Let us not be confused, right? And by the way, she has 42 bathrooms in her house or something like that.
She sure does.
Yeah. So, Rob Gill, final, sir.
I'm grateful for everybody. Listen, all you guys that showed up, thank you so much. You guys crushed it. Bill, you led off. That's not easy what you did. Lennon, you did a phenomenal job. Greg, David, thank you for helping me. Mike Gorman, who actually came to my office, Kevin Galbraith, Derek Asa, you guys did awesome. And I'm so grateful. Tim Tedesco, thank you for reaching out to me. And Carolyn, thank you for driving all this. And Joe Hagan, brother, You did a lot of good teaching today that brought me back in the day. Giants still got beat bad though. I want to be clear about that. But anyway, you brought me back to painting the picture. Teresa, your loving messages are phenomenal. I'm just really grateful for everybody on this call. And Sean, as always, listen, thank you. And Mike Schmeiken, thank you for being a great articulator that you are. You put sentences together like no one else.
Yeah, awesome job. And listen, I have not made a direct call to action ever on a Real Raw. Like, let's work together. We got an LBI weekend coming up. Like, let's work together, guys. Like, in this entire crew and team, this is what it looks like. Have an amazing day. And this is not the end of the journey. Let's go. Thank you, Rob. Great job, Joe, Teresa, everybody. Thank you.
Have a great night, everybody.
Everyone.